simple and compound interest. In today's lesson, we will be looking at simple and compound interest. First of all, let's have a look at the word interest and see what this word means. For example, if you put £100 in the bank and the bank tells you to leave the money in the bank and they will give you, let's say, 1% for leaving your money in your account, that is called interest. Okay, interest is the amount of money you are left with or you get if you leave your money in the bank account. Okay. Sometimes obviously it's not always leaving money in your bank account. Sometimes you might have to pay interest on things, etc. But interest that's one of the examples of interest in the bank. Let's have a look at compound interest then. Okay, let's have a look at an example of what compound interest is first, because compound and simple interest are two entirely different things. Let's say you've got £2,000 in the bank. The bank's going to say that they will pay you 2% for putting your money in your bank. So 2% interest per annum, per year, if you leave your money in the account. And we want to know how much money we will have at the end of 3 years. Okay, so first year, at the end of your first year, well, you started off with £2,000. Yeah, the bank's going to give you 2% interest. Well, what's 2% as a decimal? It's 0.02. Okay, I'm going to be using multipliers to work out percentages. You could just do 2 divided by 100 times by 2,000 if you wish to do so, whichever way you find easiest. In compound interest, you generally do use a calculator. So times that by 0.02 and I end up with £40. Okay, so now I started off with £2,000 and my interest that I got was £40. So I've now ended up with £2,040. Okay, my second year, I had £2,040 to start off with and I get 2% more than that. So I need to work out 2% of £2,040, okay, which is £40 and 80p. Okay, so 2,040 plus £40 and 80p gives me £2,080 and 40p. That's how much money I'm left with at the end of my second year. Okay, on my third year, I now start off with £2,080 and 40p, and obviously I get 2% more than that. So I'm going to times that, £2,080 and 40p times by 0.02, and I end up with 41.608. I'm not going to round it yet. So I'm going to do 2080.40, add 41.608. Okay, and I'm left with 2122.01. Okay, and that's how much money I'm left with at the end of 3 years. Okay, so I started off with £2,000 in my bank account, and after 2% interest, after 3 years, I'm left with £2,122 and 0p. So the interest here is the £122 and 1p, because that's the money that I've got from the bank. Okay, now this is an okay method if you've got to work out how much money you have at the end of 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, even 5 years. But for example, if you're working out 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 30 years in your exam questions, well, you're going to be there for a very, very, very long time writing out first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, and so on. So there is a shortcut way to this. So let's have a look at the understanding behind that then. And then we can obviously move on to doing the formula. Yes. So let's start off with the £3,000. Yes. In the bank account. In the bank. And the bank says they're going to give you 6% compound interest for 3 years. We'll do 3 years again. Okay. So we need to know how much money we have at the end of 3 years. So 6% as a multiplier, or to work out 6% of something, you times it by 0.06. Yes, and we did something similar up there, where when I wanted to work out 2%, I times by 0.02, but I added that value on, didn't I? So 2% of 2,000 was £40. I then added it on to 2,000. Well, I could have done that in a short way. I could have done 2,000 times 1.02, because this number 1 will already include the £2,000, which is your 100% value. So 2,000 times 1.02. And if you do that on your calculator, you will see we end up with 2,040. So I didn't have to work out 2% and then add it on to the original value. I can just straight away times by 1.02. Okay, so we're going to do that here. Now I know to work out 6%, I'm going to times by 0.06. But if I'm going to add that value on to my previous value, I'm just going to times it by 1.06. Okay, so first year, right, I start off with £3,000, but I'm getting 6% more. So I'm going to times by 1.06. So I'm going to do 3,000 times 1.06 to get 3,180. Okay. Then second year, we have got now, well, I've got my original value, haven't I? Which was, well, let's just ignore this for a minute. My value from the first year is £3,000 times 1.06, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm going to get 6% more than that. So I'm going to times that by 1.06. Okay. Then my third year, well, I'm starting off with 3,000 times 1.06 times 1.06, yeah. And then I'm getting 6% more than that, so I'm going to times that by 1.06. And we can see here that after my first year, I just times by 1.06. After my second year, I times by 1.06, 1.06. After my third year, I'm timesing by 1.06, 1.06, 1.06. So the formula actually is your start amount, okay, times by your multiplier to the power of number of years. Okay, and we can see that because that is 3,000 times 1.06 to the power of 1 year. That there is 3,000 times 1.06 squared, isn't it? Because 1.06 times 1.06 is just 1.06 squared. And look, second year, and the power is 2. And this one is 3,000 times 1.06 cubed. 3 years, and we're timesing 1.06 by itself 3 times. So that is the shortcut method. You could do this long-winded method if you want to do so, but it just means that things get quite complicated when you've got a large number of powers, when looking at a large number of powers. So let's have a look then at some questions, and we'll use a shortcut method. Okay, so let's say this time that we have got question 1. We have got £12,240 in the bank. We get a 4% interest per annum. That means per year. And we want to know how much money we'll have at the end of the account after 10 years. Okay, so we start off with the starting amount, 12,240. Well, to work out 4%, we times by 0.04. But obviously, if we're increasing something by 0.04, we're going to times by 1.04. So we're going to times that 1.04, and it's to the number of years. And let's have a look. 12,240 times 1.04 to the power of 10, using my calculator to do this. And I end up with 18118.19005. So let's round that. £18,118.19. That's how much money I will have at the end of my 10 years if I left £12,240 in the bank and the bank's giving me 4% interest. Okay, let's have a look at another example then. Okay, let's have a look at 4,000. Let's say we put £4,240 in the bank and the bank's giving me a 0.55% interest per annum. How much money will I have in my account at the end of 7 years? Okay, so I've got 4,240. Well, 0.5% as a decimal is actually, or 0.55% is, let's work that out. So we're going to do 0.55 divided by 100, aren't we? So 1, 2. So it's going to be 0.0055. But if I'm going to make something bigger by 0.55%, it's 1.0055. Okay, so I'm going to times that by 1.0055. Okay, so 4240 times 1.0055 to the power of 7. Okay, I end up with 4405.96. I'm just going to round that up, and there we are. £4,405.96. Okay. Right, let's have a look at another question then. So we're going to say a car loses its value, okay, by, let's say, 11% per year. Okay, what is it worth after 3 years? And this is also an example of compound interest. It doesn't mean that you have to get money added on. It could also be money being taken off something in your account or of something. Let's say the car's value is 24,000 exactly. Okay, so we're going to have our starting amount, which is 24,000 times by, well, 11% as a decimal is 0.11, but this is the problem here now. It's losing its value by 11%. So we're not going to be timesing by 1.011 because what's the value of the car now if it's been reduced by 11%? So it's worth 100%, but it's going to reduce its value by 11%. So we need to do 100 minus 11, which is 89%. Okay, so the car's worth 89%. Yeah, so what's 89% as a decimal? 0.89. So we're going to times by 0.89 because the car is losing its value. It's worth 89%. After 3 years, so to the power of 3, it's 24,000 times 0.89 to the power of 3, and I end up with £16,919.26. Okay, let's have a look at another example then of that. Example number 4. Let's do another car one. Car's value is 32,450. It loses its value by, let's say, 7% per year. What's the car value worth after 5 years? So we're starting off with our amount, 32,450 times by, well, if something's been reduced by 7%, it's 100% take away 7%, which is 93%. What's 93% as a decimal? It's 0.93. So it's 0.93 to the power of 5 because it's 5 years. So 32,450 times 0.93 to the power of 5, and I'm left with £22,575.09. That is what the car is worth after 5 years. So that was compound interest. Okay, so compound interest, if we look back to compare what compound interest was, so let's look at the first example that we did. You always use your value or the amount you have from the previous year. So can you see here, we started off with £2,000, didn't we? And we ended up with 2040. Then we used 2040 and we made that bigger by 2%. And we got £2,080.40p. We then used £2,080.40p and made that by bigger by 2% and ended up with this amount. So compound interest is when you use, or you are always using the previous amount, okay, and you're adding on to that. Okay, so it's not only, you know, we get £2,000 and we work out 2% of that, and that's it. You get 2% of your new value, okay, added on, or you get your percentage decreased by your new value each year. So simple interest is actually the opposite of that. Okay, so let's have a look at simple interest then. Okay, so let's have an example of simple interest then. So we say that Amber has 10% simple interest on her £400 in the bank each year. So that means that each year she will get 10% of the £400. So we're going to say how much will Amber have at the end of 5 years. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, so we're going to write first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year. Okay, first of all, we get 10% simple interest. So how do I work out 10% of something? I times by 0.1, don't I? So let's work out 10% of 400. So 10% of 400 is £40. Now, this is where it's different from compound interest. So we start off with, how much money do we start off with? £400, yeah? Well, we're going to add £40 onto that, which is £440. Right. Rather than working out 10% of 440 and then adding it onto 440, this time we just add another £40 because it's simple interest, okay? We get £40 added on to each year. That's a fixed amount, okay? So 440, add 40 is 480. I'm just going to add £40 onto that now. Okay, we get £520. We're going to add 40 onto that and we end up with 560. And then we add 40 onto that, which is £600. Okay, and you can see there is a fixed amount that's being added on each year, and that's the difference between compound interest and simple interest. Okay, so let's have a look then at another question of simple interest. So we're going to say I have £4,000 in my bank account and I'm getting simple interest this time at 2% per year. How much money will I have at the end of 10 years? Okay, now I can write first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, yeah, but or I could just do, if I was to do it here, I can do 400, yeah, pounds is because what I started off with, and I'm going to times that by 0.1, and I'm going to times that by 5, not 4, because its number of years is 5. Times it by 5, and let's double check that in the calculator. 400 times 0.1 times 5, and that gave me £200 when I do that. Okay, and I just need to add that onto 400. Okay, that would give me £600. So that's a shortcut way, because obviously I can't be sat there doing 10 years now, can I? So this is what we're going to do. So 2% is 0.02, isn't it? 2 divided by 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do £4,000 times 0.02 times 10. Okay, because £4,000 times 0.02 is £80. I'm going to get £80 added on each year. So £80 is going to be my fixed amount, yeah, that I'm going to get added on, times by 10, because there's going to be 10 of that, £800. I'm going to get £800. So I'm going to do 4,000 add 800, which is £4,800. That's how much money I will have in my bank at the end of 10 years. Okay, so that was the main difference of compound interest and simple interest. I hope this lesson was useful for you. Thank you for watching.